Did you know the volunteer hour is worth $34.79, but the impact you make is far beyond that?
In this episode, we're covering how sharing your time, talent, and treasure can make an impact in people's lives and in your community.
Hi, my name is Adrian. I serve as Vice President of External Affairs and Philanthropy and Executive Director of our FAIRWINDS Foundation. And I'm here today joined by Stephen.
Hello, my name is Stephen. I'm a mortgage loan officer here at FAIRWINDS Credit Union.
So Stephen, we're here today to talk about something that's near and dear to both of us. That's volunteering and giving back to the community. So for starters, why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you got involved in volunteerism? And one of our strong partnerships is actually Habitat for Humanity of Greater Orlando and Osceola County. And they've been an amazing partner for the last several years. And Stephen has been very, very involved with their efforts. So I'd love to hear, Stephen, how you've been engaged with Habitat.
Well, actually, my work with Habitat and my inspiration to work with them started well before FAIRWINDS. I remember when I was younger, I would go fishing with my relatives in our community. And on one of our normal trips to the fishing hole on Saturday, I walked by Habitat, which I didn't know was Habitat at that moment. They were building a home in my community in the vacant lot that we used to cut through as a shortcut to get to where we had to go and fish. Ever since then, I was always curious about what were they doing? How were they giving back? And what did it cost that person to do so? It wasn't until I got older where I realized they were Habitat with Humanity and they were doing this to give back to the community. So once I found out we had that partnership, I had to jump right in. It was something that I feel like was my calling at that point.
And when we think about how Habitat's work really ties into the mission of FAIRWINDS, we talk about building wealth, building generational wealth. And we know that home ownership is a pathway to building wealth for you and your family. So we love that we have such a strong partnership with Habitat. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you've been engaged recently with Habitat?
Oh, of course. The big thing where I got my start with Habitat was teaching the courses. You know, here at FAIRWINDS, we have access to a lot of information that many people may not be able to get to. When you're doing mortgages like myself every single day, day in, day out, you get to learn a thing or two about what it takes to buy a home and where many people are falling short just because they didn't have access to the knowledge or the information. So one of the big things we do with Habitat is their financial literacy courses. There's about 6 classes covering things like building your savings, your credit, cybersecurity, how to keep your identity safe, so on and so forth. And they've just given us the opportunity to facilitate those classes and give back to the community and share what we learn and know and what kind of feels like common knowledge to us to people who may not be aware of these things. You know, we always say that we would love for financial literacy to be taught in schools, but unfortunately it's not. So this is our opportunity to give back and make that impact. And there's something about when you're in the middle of the class and you have that opportunity to share this knowledge and you can finally see that light bulb come on and they're like, oh, I get it. I can do this. Because a lot of times they may come in a bit skeptical, a bit nervous. They don't know what to expect. But once you're there and you can connect with them one-on-one in some cases, answer their questions, and they're in a room of people who are all in the same situation. Right. And they're all thinking, okay, we're in this together and you're the person that can get that light bulb to come on. I mean, that moment in itself is fulfilling because you know then and there that this went from, oh, this is a far off idea to, oh, wait, this is a reality. I can be a homeowner and I'm closer to it than I've ever been before.
Yeah. Recently, we've engaged with Habitat beyond just financial literacy workshops. And I know that you in particular were able to participate in a home build day with Habitat. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what that experience was like and how it was meaningful for you to be part of that?
Oh, yeah, it really brings it full circle. It's like me personally, I love to do handiwork around the house, but being able to actually build a home, oh, that just took it to another level. And to know that for every nail we drove into the wall where we're putting up siding on our build day, you know that you're providing shelter and the opportunity for a family. And this is going to be their start on their financial journey to freedom, where you know that home ownership is going to be that key to building wealth. For a lot of people, they may see it as the end result, but this is the beginning. This is where you really get started in your journey. So being able to go out there and volunteer and give our time and talent and just really share and give back to the community. And you know that this home will go to a family that you've seen in these classes. You're like, no, they're going to live here. I'm going to make sure it looks well. And I have a personal part to play in this. I mean, it means the world to me. And it's like I can go and do it any day, every day if they let me.
Yeah, I love that you're so passionate about volunteering. And, you know, you're just one of many crew members who love to volunteer and give back with FAIRWINDS. And that's what makes working at FAIRWINDS so special, I think. And I want to share something pretty interesting. So according to the Do Good Institute, the value of the volunteer hour is $34.79. That's pretty significant. We talk about translating that to community and economic impact. And so in 2025, we had crew members volunteer more than 1,200 hours, which is record breaking for FAIRWINDS, by the way. And so we're hoping to, reach or exceed that goal, that number in 2026. If you take into account the value of the volunteer hour, that translates to over $41,000 in community impact. And that's what we've been able to do and give back to our community just through volunteerism alone, which is pretty incredible.
And that's just the numbers and the financial impact. That impact ripples so much further than that. Because while it could just be 40,000, 50,000, whatever the number may be, for that family, this is a lifetime of value. We're going to be changing their lives, their projections, and their futures. So this, while it is still meaningful for us, definitely, it also is going to mean a lot for this family, because think about the equity they're going to build over time. Or when we're giving back to these families in need, they can go and then pay it forward to someone else. And then we can keep that going in our community, and we build stronger community that way.
Yeah. And I love what you said about Ripple. And this is perfect timing, great segue. I want to share one of my favorite quotes. And it says, each time a person stands up for an ideal or acts to improve the lot of others, they send forth a tiny ripple of hope. And when you think about the impact of that, right? I mean, one tiny ripple can cascade into a massive tidal wave. Mm-hmm. And that's powerful. And I think together, when we work in unison and in solidarity towards a common cause, we can achieve anything and we can truly change the world. And so I love the work that you're doing and the work that FAIRWINDS is doing to really make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because even myself, just putting myself out there, I was the recipient of someone paying it forward. Once they showed me that this is volunteering, this is when someone comes out to help you, it just inspired me to therefore do the same. Ever since then, it's to each one teach one, to pay it forward, because maybe I'll be that to them like someone was to me. And just keeping that in my mind is how I've always been motivated every single time to go out and volunteer, because it makes a difference. It may not be today that they can do something, but if we can plant that seed today and it grows, they can then plant that seed in someone else, and we'll continue to see that ripple out to the rest of the community. And that's how we really build strong communities. We get from behind the screens in the hopes of saying, well, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do this. There's so many opportunities. When it comes to helping with the housing crisis, Habitat for Humanity is a great place to start. When it comes to financial literacy in high school, 8 cents in a jar, another partner. Excellent opportunity to go out and volunteer. When you're thinking about how can I fight with, like hunger in the community, you have food banks and services that you can go to. Even here in our mortgage department, we had the opportunity to build boxes of food, and we came together as a department to put those boxes together to give out to the community and feed families during the holidays. And it doesn't always require someone to, go above and beyond and do structure. You just have to say, hey, you know what? I do want to do something today. And there's so many opportunities. It's just always a thing of we just got to go out there, be the boots in the ground, and be that change that we want to see in our community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very well said. And I think there's power in purpose, right? And when I think about philanthropy is giving your time, talent, treasure. And so, even one small act really can make a big difference to anyone. Mm-hmm. And so, when I think about all the volunteer events that FAIRWINDS does, the volunteering that you do on an individual basis, there's data and evidence that shows that group volunteering leads to being more productive in the workplace. And so, we really see, especially at FAIRWINDS, that there is an improvement in employee retention and engagement and productivity when we're going out to volunteer. And one thing I like to do is I encourage our crew members to come forward with issues and causes that they're passionate about, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you're passionate about something, you have more motivation to affect change and be a part of it. And so organizations like Habitat, like 8 Cents in a Jar, like Second Harvest, these all are about, they're all about addressing important issues in our community, whether it's affordable housing, it could be hunger and homelessness, food insecurity, but we're all wrapping our arms around these issues to really make a difference and help our neighbors.
Exactly, because the job is one thing when you can do the work, but when a lot of people really want out of what they're doing every single day is to know that they matter. and that they're making that impact. And volunteerism is how you make that impact directly. I know there's many problems that we may not be able to fix and that it may seem a bit daunting at times, but when you can focus on your neighborhood, your own backyard, and you can see that change and you can know that, okay, well, for example, this home we were helping build for Habitat, every time we drive by that house now, we're going to know I helped put that together. I directly impacted my community. I made a change, and it matters. And it matters to the people in that home. It's going to matter to their families, and generation after generation, hopefully, it's going to matter to them as well. And it just started with one small action of let's just wake up and go out here and swing a hammer.
Right. Yeah, I think it speaks to the power of, being able to change people's lives. And I also want to share another one of my other favorite quotes. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. It is the only thing that ever has. And it's so true, because when people have the passion and the courage and conviction to go out and make an impact and do good for others, it can only make us all better.
Exactly. And it's just that impact and everything that you're saying there, it really encompasses my personal drive to get out there and do it, because this is what really matters. So that 1 hour isn't just me going out or anyone going out just doing, okay, well, I'm doing this hour so I can log an hour. You're changing their lives. You're changing the community. And that is so much more fulfilling sometimes than just saying, okay, well, I got paid this dollar for whatever I did today. It's like you're doing way more than that. That's a currency that feeds the spirit more so than anything.
Right.
And that's really going to uplift everyone around us.
So another thing that comes to mind is the saying that a rising tide lifts all boats. And business has a responsibility to invest in the community, because when communities succeed, businesses succeed as well. And that couldn't be more true with the work that we're doing and the work that you're doing. So thank you for everything you're doing in the community.
Of course, and thank you. I mean, you've been spearheading a lot of these initiatives, going out and opening up these doors and these opportunities for me to do so. So I greatly appreciate the work you're doing now. And I look forward to seeing what we do in the future.
Absolutely. If you want to learn more about employee engagement and volunteerism, check out the link below.
And also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us get this message out to communities and everyone around.